Concrete operational approach for needs definition, needs driven innovation is what I call the linkages driven approach, which seeks to offer more detailed cues by considering the so called customer activity chain. What is that? So, when customers engage in a major initiative or project in their personal lives or at work, they must typically complete a whole range of activities. Consider a customer in the case of buying a car. They must engage in a range of activities such as researching the cars, deciding what to buy and where to buy it from, then what accessories and ancillary services to buy, whether to get extended warranty, leather seats. All these activities that a customer gets engaged in form an activity chain. Each of these activities not only have a functional and economic dimension, but also a social dimension and an emotional dimension, which we also try to understand in mapping the activity chain. So in this case, the customers must know where to buy these accessories and ancillary services from, directly from a dealer, or are they going to get a better deal by buying from other sources on the internet? They're worried about the fact that, is this a good deal? Also, how will my friends and my family respond or react to the purchase I made, the color I chose? The linkages-based approach seeks to find gaps or breaks in a customer activity chain and find an innovative technology-enabled way to fill these gaps. The discussion here is based on an article in the Sloan Management Review that my co-authors and I wrote about, with several examples from different industries. There are 4 types of linkages: temporal expansion, spatial expansion, temporal reconfiguration, and spatial reconfiguration. Let's first quickly review them and then elaborate on them in more detail. So temporal expansion is about finding new opportunities, new offerings that add new activities within a primary activity chain to make this primary chain more efficient and more effective. Spatial expansion is about creating new activities in an adjacent activity chain, going from car purchase to home purchase, for example. Temporal reconfiguration is about finding new innovations, new opportunities that change the very structure and control of activities within the primary activity chain. And spatial reconfiguration, the last linkage, is about new innovation that changes the structure and control of activities in an adjacent activity chain. Each of these cases, we start by focusing on areas where customers typically spend significant time, money, and energy. Activities related to education, career management, home ownership, automobile ownership, parenting, and retirement. Each of these activities can be mapped out as a customer activity chain for starters. Consider the case of home ownership, which involves a number of activities like searching for a home, negotiating a price to buy it, making an offer and getting the offer accepted, moving into it, furnishing and maintaining it, then protecting it, renovating and remodeling, and eventually selling the home. In business-to-business markets, the customer activity chain typically involves a similar sequence of activities, but that constitute a business process. So let's consider temporal expansion in more detail. In temporal expansion, we focus on the end-to-end customer activity chain, as in the case of buying a car, a home, or education. Customers typically need a host of complementary products and services to help perform activities that precede, accompany, or follow the focal offering in the core customer activity chain. These new services require an expansion along the time dimension, so we call these opportunities temporal expansion opportunities. To identify these opportunities, innovators need to develop a deep understanding of the activity sequence that spans the entire life cycle of the interaction between products and customers. Often, the activity chain can be extended, or gaps in the activity chain can be filled with new products and services. Temporal expansion, therefore, focuses on the primary activity chain. However, innovative firms can also consider introducing new offerings into new adjacent opportunity spaces. These offerings typically involve new features that exploit existing products or services to create new platforms for customers. So while temporally linked services deepen relationships with customers, spatially linked services seek to broaden the portfolio of such relationships. Consider Google, which may move from the search activity chain focused on information provision to an adjacent activity chain that involves mediation. So they may enter the ride-sharing market or Airbnb-like room-sharing market. To uncover opportunities for spatially linked services, innovators need to develop a thorough understanding of customer needs and lifestyles in order to identify closely related customer needs and related customer segments with our primary activity chain. Facebook, for example, may move beyond simpler friendly social networking to more deeper, romantically oriented social interactions. And that would be a spatial expansion.